But it's not just the bush, but the nation which must feel betrayed that billions of dollars promised by the Morrison government for regional dam construction has been withdrawn. You've heard me for years about harvesting water. Look what's happened this year, and the flood water flows out to the sea. The $5.4 billion to build the Hells Gate Dam in North Queensland, money withdrawn. Bob Catter will be filthy. Money previously earmarked to build the Dungowan Dam near Tamworth and to raise the dam wall of the Wyangla Dam about 320 kilometres west of Sydney, that money has been deferred. The $600 million commitment to help the Queensland government rebuild the problem-plagued Paradise Dam near Bundaberg, that money remains. But after that, next to nothing. The Razor Gang, this Katie Gallagher from the ACT, what the hell would she know about harvesting water? But $4.6 billion has been cut from the National Water Grid Fund over 12 years. Now, common sense would tell you that if we spent money harvesting water, we could grow our agricultural output, and at the end of the day, we're capable of feeding Asia. If I was drafting a budget, the cost of harvesting water would be right at the top of my, the spend list. Spending, it's spending, which ensures economic growth and productivity, the two things we desperately need. But the big issue, I must say, not of the government's making, is the NDIS. There's a massive collision now looming between the claims of the disability sector and the taxpayers' capacity to pay. The scheme is projected to grow by almost 14% a year for the next decade, more than double the rate of spending in other big government programs like defence, aged care and medical benefits. Within 4 years, the NDIS is forecast to be costing the taxpayer over $51 billion. And the number of participants and the average cost per participant continue to rise. $51 billion. When the costs of Medicare at the same time are forecast to be $36 billion, aged care $25 billion. These are massive amounts of money. The Treasurer said in his budget speech, we choose dignity for Australians with disability. That is commendable and unarguable. But that doesn't mean to say that the rorting in Medicare may not exist in the NDIS. One of the problems is the very vague and subjective notion of the definition of disability. Quote, the impairment of body or function, a limitation in activities or a restriction in participation when interacting with their environment. Unquote. See, who decides? These are subjective criteria. The genuinely disabled, suffering total or partial loss of their bodily or mental functions, deserve our every support. But Bill Shorten, the NDIS Minister, is right to establish a fraud task force, and his language is right when he says it will, quote, help defend the scheme from crooks and help deliver our pledge to crack down on NDIS fraudsters. Is this the world we live in? Even Aboriginal leaders are saying there are people seeking benefits under identifiable Aboriginal schemes who aren't Aboriginal. I think Bill Shorten is on top of this issue, especially his focus on getting people on the NDIS out of hospitals and getting rid of the crooks. But these are big figures. By 2030, the number of people on the NDIS is projected to rise to 830,000. And the costs growing, as I said, by almost 14% a year for the next decade. It is the necessary price we pay to provide as best we can dignity to all Australians. In summary, the budget, a curate's egg, some good, mostly crook.